How you all doing? So for new viewers, we're going to be talking some numbers, and when I talk about numbers, we're doing Gematria, which is a form of numerology, and it's simple, but it's the most beautiful. A is 1, first letter of the alphabet, B is 2, C is 3, and we add up the numerical value of names, places, movie references, sports results, science, history, you name it, we bring it into the reality. So who's in the chat? Is this being censored again? Let's have a look. We'll give people a few seconds to come in. Hey Rebecca. Hey Starsfire, how are you? Hey Diane, Sherry, Tilly Bob, Tamberley, Oklahoma. Where in Okie is it? You've told me before, but remind me. New Zealand, David. There you go. I was thinking of November rain earlier today, actually. Yeah. Hey Matthew. Hey Gammy. Grace. Good folks. Keswick Lakes, okay. Whitstable. Excellent. And hit the hype button if you would. Let's get the message out. And subscribe as well to notifications. Okay, so I mentioned this briefly yesterday, but I'm going to go more in depth on this now. So times, dates, places. We've seen that some things land on a date, and then we see others that maybe land on a date a little bit later, or some even before, or some pop up on a year or two later delta. I don't think that's the case right now with what we're doing. Remember we talked about the Black Swan, and I felt the Black Swan would be back in on October 19th, and that we've done all the codes on that that's shown us that we're on course. And the way this works, we have the Q posts, we have our own reality, we have things that happen. Remember, the white hats are in control of all the media. So let's delve into when the storm is, because the storm's still got to happen. So it's storm season, and some clever clogs have been saying, oh, it's storm season. It's like, yeah, okay, we got that. Yeah, thanks. But like I said in the other video, I didn't know about the storm Melissa, but then it all of a sudden hit. But I did say at the beginning of the week, we'll have, would this be a week of storms? There's still the massive storm to come. And when is that? Okay, so I was watching Back to the Future last night, one of my favorite films for codes. And just a reminder on Back to the Future, the merger of Twitter and Elon Musk buying it was all predicted a long time ago, and it's in the Back to the Future film, and it's all to do with the Bluebird Motel. So at the end of the film, when Marty is in 1955, he's been there for a week. He landed November 5th, and it went all the way through to the following week, November 12th. And then he went back in time, back to October 26th, 1985. That's how the movie ends. So, as the storm is about to hit, the prediction on the bolt of lightning, Marty pulls the car around, the DeLorean. Who owns the John DeLorean property in real time? Donald Trump, Donald J. Trump. Donald J. Trump, 148, time traveler 148. He owns it. And there's a reason for that. There's a reason for that. So, DeLorean is 74, which is Gematria 74. So, we're being told through the film that Gematria helps us predict and extrapolate things past, present, and future. Gematria 74, DeLorean 74. They could have used any brand of car, but they chose DeLorean, and there's a reason for that. And we've got 174 in the chat right now, which is real Donald Trump. 174. We just had 444 on the second, so what I'm telling you is correct. And then 174 is DeLorean time machine. Now the Bluebird Motel. Bluebird is the old symbol of Twitter, isn't it? It was the Bluebird. And Bluebird Motel comes to 138 in numbers, which comes to Donald Trump, 138. It comes to Elon Musk Bank. It also comes to Is Elon Musk. And that comes to 138. It even comes to Elon Musk Jr. Junior, like X. X Musk comes to 88 Trump, and President Trump used to walk around the place with Elon's little boy. Very obviously for pictures, etc. Comms. Excuse me. I am Twitter comes to 138, and it's got the Bluebird Motel. It's got the symbol of the Bluebird, so it's Twitter. And then I noticed, I may have noticed this a few years ago when I first saw it, but it's become apparent right now because of the timeline we're on. We've got 192 in the chat, which is October 19th. There you go, Ivanka Marie Trump, 192. So there's above the Bluebird Motel. Look on my Twitter, I put it up, or watch the film again. And there's a reason they brought it out on Halloween, because people were saying there's not going to be another Halloween, and there was, but they're putting comms overriding on Halloween. That's why the Back to the Future film came out yesterday. It's on for a week, but it came out last night, and I went and watched it. So above Bluebird Motel, it says Hill Valley, because that's the town that they're in Back to the Future. Hill Valley is 118, which is the storm. So the very first number I got is my cousin Paul's birthday, January 18th, 118. 118 is the storm, 118 is the Matrix. 118 is also the Atomic Kid, which appears in the timeline, jumps in that area once you change timelines, or he's gone from it. You'll see it, it's above the cinema. So there's even a reference to cinemas there, you see. That's the other thing. Anyway, so you've got 118 Hill Valley, and then you've got Bluebird Motel, which is 138, and you have both of those together, and that comes to 256, and 256 comes to the year that we're in, which is 2025, 256. So it's telling us it's this year. That's what it's telling us. The Ingersoll Lockwood website has told us it's this year. Melania's comms, referencing the storm from 8 years ago, telling us the 8-year anniversary of the Q post itself, lining up with one of the Q posts with President Trump in China right now, or just got back, but was on the exact date of the Q post. And then if you do the date, so November 8th, what am I saying, November 8th? November 12th, November is 94, Ace of Spades. November 94, well, 12th 94 is also Third Eye. You've got Third Eye Atlas happening right now, okay? Yeah, both those together, so you do November 12th, it comes to 188, which comes to President Kennedy, it comes to Close Encounters, and it comes to the coronavirus, it comes to Show Me the Money for the RV, etc. 138 is XRP, XDC, XLM all together, 138 revaluation, 138 Donald Trump, 138, the gold reset, 138, the gold exchange, 138, the savior, 138. People don't like it when I say that, but my loyal supporters understand he is. He's Neo in the Matrix. He's breaking the Matrix for the rest of us to follow through. That's just the reality, folks. And 138 is, as I said, Donald Trump, 138, and 138 is the Bluebird Motel. But you have both of those together, so you do, if you do Hill Valley, 118, the storm, and Emmett Brown says the storm, because the storm's about to happen. They need the bolt of lightning. A bolt of lightning is 171, which is the revaluation. There's a part in the film where they discover that they can actually use a bolt of lightning to get back, because Marty's traveled into time and he doesn't have an energy source to go backwards, plutonium. Why does Tenet talk about plutonium 241? 241 is President John F. Kennedy. And then plutonium is 141, which is Tom Bushnell, Quantum Leap, June 11th, the day I met Ivanka. There's a whole bunch of them. But why? So there's a part in the middle of the film where Emmett Brown is talking, I think to maybe, is it Thomas Jefferson? Maybe someone, it's not a historical figure, and he says, Tom, 1.21 gigawatts, and that always jumps out at me. There's even a trailer of it on YouTube, which has got like oodles of views, and it's 2 minutes and 45 seconds, that clip. That's my full name, Tom Sidney Bushnell, which is currency revaluation 245. But anyway, so if you do Hill Valley 118 plus Bluebird Motel 138, it comes to 256. Or the Bluebird, is it the Bluebird Motel? Blue 73. I think it's just Bluebird Motel. Anyway, it's 138. That's 256, which is 2025. And then you add the date in the film, which is November 12th, which is 118. You add those together, and that comes to 444. And as I was saying to you, I'm going to tell you what it is. And we got that number. That was the time that I first said that. If you wind the clock back, it was just at the point of going from 4 minutes and 44 seconds. So I feel that's what we're on, folks. I don't know exactly how they're going to do the storm, but I'm sure it will be physical storms, but there'll be other storms that come along. And as with all of this, we're shooting in the goal. We know where the goal is, and the ball could go in a number of different places, but we know where the goal is, and we're doing it. And everywhere else on the earth is not doing it, and that's the point. So we're always surprised by it, but we're always confirmed as we go through the goal line. So that's what's happening. And 263 in the chat is God eternal within the body. And 91 is Space Force, future liberty. That's what we've got on thumbs up. So folks, we're going to kind of do a mini countdown. I think things are going to ramp up, but we're going to keep doing what we're doing. So 285 days. If you do Ivanka Marie Trump Bushnell, which I really like, that's 285. If you do 192, which is a big number, plus 93, that's also 285. Flotus is 93 plus 192. She's not Flotus, but she's probably going to be president at some point. 277 is quantum financial system. There you go. 94 is Ace of Spades, as we're saying what we're saying. So third eye. Something's brewing. We know that, folks. It's going to happen. They did say at some point we'd have a very Merry Christmas. So we've still got days in the year. That's the thing. We've still got days in the year. We're going to go through November 5th. We'll see what happens then. We've got things in terms of the money stuff with the 14th and 22nd. But it could be that November 12th is the big storm. That's what it says in the film Back to the Future. That's the one that talks about it all. So that's the one I'm working on. And it could be that maybe we have 10 days of darkness then. Perhaps we could do 10 days of dark. The 10 days of darkness is 233, which is John Fitzgerald Kennedy, gold-backed digital currency, follow the white rabbit. Maybe we have a 10 days of darkness from the 12th through to the 22nd, maybe. But there's something with the storm. They've put it out, and why they brought out Back to the Future again. There's October 31st doesn't tally up on any dates in Back to the Future. It's October 22nd. October 26th, but they re-released it on the 31st, and they could have done it any day, but they did it then. So, oh, bless you, thank you. Cobb, is it Cobb? Cab, thank you. KCB, thank you. So, that's what it feels like. That's what it looks like. But yeah, when I saw that on the Bluebird Motel, because that's been one of my codes for ages, people have started to put that out now, which is fine. But I was the one going on about 88 Trump 5 years ago, and people have caught out now, that's cool. That's all part of what we've got to do. We've got to decode it for the world, and then they catch up. But when I saw Hill Valley, the Bluebird Motel 256, which is 2025, I was like, whoa, okay. Because it has to happen at some point. It has to happen. That guy out in Russia, that politician guy, said the storm. There's been references to it all over the place, and so eventually it will happen, and it could be that we're literally just 12, 11 days away now. It's not a half moon, it's probably 2/3 of a moon tonight. Yeah, Halloween. It was busy in the town. I was supposed to go and watch Twilight tonight, but couldn't park, so I missed the film. I have to watch it another time. But maybe I'm supposed to be doing the show with you right now. I would have been doing it later with you, but I'm doing it now. So everything works out as it's supposed to. But it's peaceful out here, as you can tell. It's quiet, which is nice, which is lovely. It was pretty busy in the town. All the Halloween spillovers. I think there's a concert on as well. Oh yeah, you got the clock reversal tonight in the US. 333 as I said that, and then 109 thumbs up, which is 17 Psych Club. We had our reversal on October 26th last week, which was interesting. The other thing with Back to the Future is I've always wondered why is it October 26th through to November 5th. That's a period of approximately, depending how you look at it, 10 days or 11 days. It's not quite 13 days for the whole thing of bringing back the Gregorian calendar. But there's something around it. There's something around all of this, what they're doing. And eventually, when it happens, and looking back, we'll figure out what it is. We'll see it. 339 in the chat, which is Close Encounters of the Third Kind. And 112 thumbs up is Star Trek, which is Victory. You're Kelly too. Nice one. Cool. 343 is President John Fitzgerald Kennedy, Star Trek. There you go. I've done stuff on that before. I've done things about President Kennedy probably being Captain Kirk up on the USS Enterprise. Are we getting some trolls in here? Let's have a look. Are we getting some trolls? What does the Q post for today say? November 1st. Is there one for today, November 1st? There's some on November 5th, which are big ones about Diana. The other one about Save the Clock Tower. So Save the Clock Tower in numbers is 205. 205 is my grandma, Eileen. President Trump's mentioned her. Her name was Eileen Wood, or I Wood, they would call her. And he said her name back in 2020 when he first called me numbers. I'd already just got the name numbers in my kind of awake peer group, but he confirmed it and said, great job numbers. And then he mentioned my grandmother, I Would, on 43 seconds. And my grandparents lived in number 43 most of their lives. And it was only an hour, it was 1 minute 40 or 1 minute 41, the clip. Tom numbers is 140 or 141 is Tom Bushnell. I have to check. But yeah, so it was all there. And then, yeah, so 205 is Save the Clock Tower. And that's how they figure out there's going to be a bolt of lightning. But 205 in numbers is also Madison Square Garden. And the opening scene of Highlander is in Madison Square Garden. Highlander is 86, which is Black Swan, which is circuit, sorry, not circuit, capacitor, like flux capacitor. It's pyramid, it's triangle, it's 19, it's celestial, it's Las Vegas, it's tunnel, it's Black Swan, it's formula as in Formula 1. Now we've got 350 in the chat, which is everything everywhere all at once, and then 124 thumbs up is gigawatts, and then 125 now is time travel. Something's coming, folks. It's coming, and we'll all be delighted when it's here. But 205 Save the Clock Tower. What Q post is number 205? It's the one that lands on November 22nd, which is death of the triumvirate, which is the House of Saud, which is Rothschild and Soros. And then you've got Ivanka in the picture. Ivanka's 58 in numbers. Excuse me, XRP 58, Nasara 58, Robin 58. Excuse me, my gum. Should save the clock towers 205, takes you to that. The other thing with November 5th, 17 days later, is November 22nd, the anniversary of JFK, and that's the announcement with the SWIFT system, and it's in the film Rounders with 262 plus XRP. 262 is my cousin Paul Bushnell. 262 plus XRP Ivanka 58 takes you to 320, which is Liberty Enlightening the World, which is John Fitzgerald Kennedy Jr., which is the Tenet Square, which is Arepo, Opera, Rotus, Sator, Tenet. It's all there, folks. Who put those in? Like I said before, who's Q? Wait till you find out who you've been talking to. Q is everyone that we mentioned, but it's also our higher selves. It's us. That's what it is. That's what's the message of Interstellar. And Interstellar was released on October 26th, which is the date of time traveling Back to the Future, the same as Terminator. That was released then. And also Cloud Atlas. I need to watch that, because this whole thing with Atlas right now, that was released then, Cloud Atlas. All these dates, they're all comms. And because it's the fifth dimensional stuff, there's always other pieces to it. It's not just linear, but it pushes it because it dominates. It pushes us into that direction. But there's always other pieces that pop up. So that's how it is. That's how it is. That's how it goes, folks. So. What's President Trump's schedule this weekend? Is he down in Mar-a-Lago? Favorite number, that's very good. I think it's 88. Well, it's 888. That's the triple dip. That's the double triple. 888. But I love my personal numbers. So 245. Someone's just asked what's my favorite number. 88 is Trump. 88 miles per hour. 58 Ivanka. 118 is the very first number I got, which is the storm, which is Hill Valley, which is someone very important. 118. It's cousin Paul's date of birth, January 18th. 118. The Matrix is 118. I've met Keanu Reeves. I've also met Trinity. Neo's 34. Tam is 34, as in DJ T is 34. Tam's a Scottish name for Tom in the Heretic movie. 245, my full name, Thomas Sidney Bushnell. Currency revaluation, 245. The Pure Love of Christ, 245. 192 is a real favourite. That's one of those special numbers here that you can dial. 192. It used to be like a services directory, but that's Ivanka's full name. It's my friend Checkmate. It's her birthday, October 19th. It's Michael Gambon's birthday, October 19th. John Lithgow, who plays Donald in Interstellar, it's his birthday, October 19th, which is 192. Governor's Island's 192, where Steve Bannon and that guy from the Chinese Republic talked about the millennial reign of peace back in 2020, and they did that on Obama's birthday to kind of do a bit of trolling. Obama's birthday is August 4th, if I remember rightly. August 4th is in Terminator. They talk about the Skynet funding bill being passed. And then Judgment Day takes place on October 29th. October 29th is 261. 261 is November 22nd for JFK. August 31st is 261 for Diana. Michael Jackson's born August 29th, 261. That's the Judgment Day. 261 is Q when it's protection. 261. Obviously, another favourite number is 17 because that's Q. 185, Donald John Trump, Book of Revelation, 185. World Trade Center 185. But there's two of them, wasn't there? There was two. We know there's at least POTUS and real Donald Trump. There's other Trumps. There's other ones. 254 is September 11th, when the reversal of that will happen at some point. But 254 is the 254th day of the year on a non-leap year is September 11th. 254 is 1,000 years apiece. 254. 1,000 years apiece is 222. Gray's Sports Almanac. My birthday, February the 15th, is 222. I knew someone 222. Wyndham, New Yorker, as in the hotel, is 222. The speed and ferocity of that Hurricane Melissa that just took place, it was 185 mph. That comes to 222. So it's Donald John Trump 185. The Matrix Reset 185. Plus mph, which is 37. You add that together, that's 222. And mph is also senior, so Donald John Trump SR is 222, 1,000 years apiece. Which is also Winter White House, which is Mar-a-Lago, where President Trump is at Mar-a-Lago. Mar-a-Lago 68, Baron Wayne, as in Wayne's World, as in Batman, Mr. Wayne. So lots of great numbers. I love them all. But someone did ask what my favourite was. 152, that's my birthday. So it's Bournemouth, 152. That's in the chat, or thumbs up. 152 is February 15th. And 152 is Black Swan event. The Black Swan event. Ah, there you go. I'd forgotten that one. So the Black Swan event is 185. And the storm that they showed this week, and I said there will be, could this be a week of storms? And with all due respect, I don't watch the news unless it hits and it's massive. I don't watch the news, and I don't watch the weather reports in the US unless it's a big one that comes up. But then within like 24 hours or so of saying that storm Melissa came out of nowhere, and now people are saying it's kind of dissipating and gone. I guess storms come and go. Cheryl and Rebecca, hey. So hey Victoria, appreciate that. Thank you for your $50 super chat. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thanks guys. Thank you. There's a link below as well if people want to do that. YouTube is great for it, but also if you want to send PayPal, I get more of that. I don't have to kind of split it as much with YouTube. It's okay to tell that to people on YouTube. That's just how it is. But yeah, thank you. I appreciate that very much. Very kind of you. But I have a PayPal as well if people want to do it that way, or you can just do it on YouTube. That's good as well. I get more of the percentage of it when you send the gift. So thank you. If you send it via PayPal, I appreciate that. Bless you. Thanks, Victoria. That's so kind of you. I really appreciate it. Thank you. God bless you. Victoria, if I remember rightly, I've got to check it. Do you know your own numbers? I think Victoria, I haven't done that for a long time, but I think Victoria is 97, which is crypto, which is through, which is beautiful. I believe it's 97. Check it though. I think it's 97. But it's a long time since I've done that one. Makes me think of Victoria Embankment, which is 195, Christopher Nolan. And the River Thames. We got 400 in the chat. There you go. 195, Victoria Embankment, Christopher Nolan. We had 400 in the chat. That's at 391. 165 is Westminster. I'm talking about Westminster right now. Other physics, resurrection. The resurrection is 198. Excuse me, President Trump. Another thing with the election, so election is 83. comes to faith. It also comes to the word negative. And if you're talking just from a purely scientific point of view, so negative and positive charges, and they balance. President Trump is beautiful at balance. Balance is 38. 138 is Donald Trump. So President Trump can use positive and the negative forces of his enemies in the art of the deal, the art of the Trump. He can maneuver things for his purposes to bring around the best results. So happy birthday, Tilly. There you go. So negative election 83, and it happened on November 5th, which is 11/5, which is positive. The word positive is 115. 11/5, November 5th. Election 83 negative, add them together is 198, which is President Trump, you see. So everything is coded, folks. And new viewers, so President Trump uses these numbers. It was his essence and Diana's and the Q team and the Kennedys and my higher self teaching me these numbers in the first few weeks of COVID. I didn't get it from a book. There wasn't anyone teaching this online. It all came to me, so it was a gift. And I'm always very grateful for it and conscious of that. But do you remember when President Trump was running for office? Does anyone remember what the text donation number was on his rostrum that he would always display everywhere he went? It was 88022. So 88 in numbers is Trump. 22 is MAGA. If you add 88 Trump plus 22 MAGA, it comes to 110, which comes to the word president. And if you want to take it even further, there's the 0. So a lot of people would say drop the 0. You do that quite a lot in numerology. You can do that in Gematria. I like to keep it open. You can do both ways. I never get kind of upset about how to do it. It's fluid. You go with it. But 0 comes to 64. Tenet, Jubilee, Gotham. You add them together. So if you do 110, so if you do Trump 88, 0, 64, plus 22 MAGA, deal, AU for chemical symbol for gold. Yeah, them all together comes to 174, which comes to real Donald Trump, and that's his Twitter handle. Real Donald Trump 174, currency exchange. That's the first piece of code him and Melania gave us 5 days after I met Ivanka in New York. New York is 111, Manhattan's 92 numbers, reverse 92. Sneakers 92. Hamilton, as in the Interstellar Watches, and Lewis Hamilton, the racing car driver, and in the F1 film, 92. Optimus Prime, as in Transformers, the leader of the Autobots, is 174. Luke Skywalker 174. Trust the Plan 174. Currency exchange 174. Currency reset 174. The Quantum Leap 174. It's all there, folks. We do live in a digital, highly advanced reality, and that's why AI is showing us. It's bridging the gap. We got 176, thumbs up. 176 is Back to the Future, level playing field 176. Real Tom Numbers, I just said about real Donald Trump 174. Real Tom Numbers is 176, my Twitter handle. So there you go, Diane. There you go. Thought you'd enjoy that. It's a wonderful, beautiful thing that we live in, this creation that we've all participated in and put together. So coronavirus, virus is 89, palladium is 89, so one of the 4 main precious metals. You also have the one that trumps it, which is rhodium, so a 5th one. There's other ones, but silver, gold, palladium, platinum. Palladium's 89. 89 is also the word virus. 89 is also the word hologram. So when we had the coronavirus, corona is 66, which is event. So the corona event, well, virus event, coronavirus, however you want to do it. It's also the hologram, the corona hologram, and we're shown that in Back to the Future. Back to the Future 2, where Marty McFly is in the center square. And just prior to the bit I'm going to talk about with the Jaws 19, there's a real Donald Trump in a MAGA hat. There's a big, tall, young Donald Trump walking past, wearing a MAGA hat, and he's wearing like an orange kind of copper shiny jacket. And President Trump always does the orange comms, doesn't he? You know, orange is 460, diamond 60, orange 60. But in Back to the Future 2, you'll remember that Marty's looking around in the future, and out comes Jaws 19. We never actually had a Jaws 19 film. It got to Jaws 3D, and I think maybe Jaws 4. But Jaws 19, it showed it was a hologram. It actually says it's like Holomax, which I think comes to 88 Trump. So it's showing us that it was a hologram. It wasn't real. It was a white hat operation based upon the plans of what the Cabal had, and that's why everybody wasn't exterminated. That's the reality of it, folks. We've got 414 in the chat, which is morning of the first resurrection. 414. But you've got Jaws 19. The word Jaws is the Italian word. So if you translate the Italian word Fauci, the name Fauci in Italian, and you translate that into English, it comes to the word Jaws. Jaws comes to 53, which comes to COVID. So they were telling us that's what it was. So you had Jaws 19 in Back to the Future, you had Fauci 19, and then you had COVID 19. That's how it works, folks. That's what it is. 19 is idea, hologram. This is a holographic reality, even though it feels very solid. 19 is also DNA. We're going from third dimension to fifth dimension. The fifth dimension, fourth density, is 184 in numbers, which is deoxyribonucleic, so the full name for the DNA. And then acid 17 is Q, which takes you to 201. If you spell 21, if you drop the 0, it takes you to 141. 141 quantum leap, Tom Bushnell 141. June 11th, when I met Ivanka, 141. 201 makes me think of like Space Odyssey 2001. Nolan's new film is called The Odyssey. The Odyssey appears in Oblivion, the Tom Cruise film. And that's made by the guys that make F1 film. It's all there, folks. Everything's there. It's all there. And the question is that, like I said before, they've got all these different exit routes. They've got all, because the more nodes in the network, the more possibilities you have to execute things. So that's the thing. It's like, as Neo advances in the Matrix, he gets more and more enemies, and he just like slows down, and he's able to deflect all of them because he's advancing. Because the higher you ascend, the more your DNA becomes activated. You ascend into the fifth dimension. The fifth dimension is 184 in numbers, which is deoxyribonucleic. That's what it is. How did that come to me? That came to me. That someone gave me that. That came to me. That's nowhere else. No one else has ever put that together. All these things that I taught you are all organic, but I'm blessed they come to me. There you go. So, yeah, that's what it is, folks. That is what it is. 189, that's my birthday, which is February 15th. If you do February the 15th, that's 222, which I said earlier. So, hey, Melissa Harper. There you go. Popcorn, 97. Hurricane, 97. October, 19. 97. Kennedy's, 97. Crypto, 97. Melissa, 78. October. Blockchain, 78. Kennedy, 78. February 13th. My first girlfriend, she was on the 13th of February. She'd have 13th of Feb, Valentine's. My birthday, February 15th. We actually didn't get to that because I started my mission in Scotland. So we're only together for a few months before I left, about 4 or 5 months. But it was fun, it was good times. So, Scotland 88, Trump. Edinburgh 88. Scotland, Edinburgh 176. Back to the Future 176. Level playing field 176. Hey Sandy. Nova Scotia, Canada. Nova Scotia, New Scotland, there you go. What about Sammy Davis Jr.? I'm not sure, what's the question? Sandy, Utah. I know people from Sandy. They had the earthquakes out there. First week of COVID, Moroni's men. The trumpet fell off. The mic drop. The Charlie Kirk incident, the mic drop. It was all timed. People are realizing that. That hasn't finished, but that will all come out. There's so many threads that are going to get brought together. Oh, happy birthday, Mr. Wolf. What's the time, Mr. Wolf? Happy birthday. What's the time, Mr. Wolf? November 12th. You could be exactly right. So happy birthday to you, sir. That's fantastic. That's great. Don Cheadle, maybe. And he's in Ocean's 11, isn't he? They do the heist, the bank heist, the casinos in Ocean's 11. And that's another thing I don't think I've mentioned before. So I think, isn't Brad Pitt's character in Ocean's 11 called Rusty Hines or something like that? Isn't his name? Is his name Rusty? I think it is. There's a part in the F1 film, they do a nice Easter egg to that character, and he says when he's just got the first point in the F1 movie, Fernando Alonso taps him on the shoulder and congratulates him as he's been interviewed. He says, "I'm still a bit rusty." And I was thinking that's a reference to Ocean's 11, and Ocean's 11 centers all around Las Vegas. Las Vegas 86, Black Swan 86, Tunnel 86, Highlander 86, Pyramid. There's a massive pyramid there, the Luxor. We got 201. There you go. 201 in the chat. I was talking about that earlier. Now 203 artificial intelligence. Trump intelligence 203, artificial intelligence 203. Trump, art of the deal. Art of the deal is 115, which is intelligence, which is 11.5, which is November 5th, you see. So that's how that works. Dream Weaver is 11.5. They talk about the Dream Weaver in Wayne's World, don't they? I hope they show that on TV or in the movie soon. Wayne's World. I was 17 when I watched that. I loved it. Blew me away. It was a great film. And Queen, Freddie Mercury's in it. So we got 205 thumbs up right now, which was a reference to the Q post for November 22nd. Now we've got 206, which is a reference to Circuit of the Americas, when the timeline was confirmed, because the Swan event with Amazon reversed that. Melissa, you pointed this out, that some cases were saying that it started at 11:56, so like the official blackout. But in the beginning of the F1 film, 11:56 pops up. And also Paradise. President Trump's talked about Paradise and pleasures before, reference to the casino in Back to the Future 2. You've got Paradise, Las Vegas, Nevada comes to 206, which is quantum physics, which is Circuit of the Americas, which is The Dark Knight Rises. And you've got that event with the whole thing with the implosion of the football stadium. .206, 207, 208. We've just jumped past that one, but that's my cousin Paul. 208, Paul Dennis Bushnell. Quantum system 208. Two beams of light is 208. So I've said before that I've been out to 9/11. Well, I've been out to New York at that time in 2021. 221, 1,000 years apiece. Where you had the two beams of light. I remember coming in on the boat one evening and seeing it, the two beams of light, but that's 208, Paul Dennis Bushnell. And it was a nice marker because that's where I got my first numbers, back in 2015, Paul's date of birth. And I met people with the same date of birth as him. Hey Carol, glad you're here. Christopher 139, transition 139. Excuse me, folks. If you excuse my table manners. That's better. I'm just taking the gum out. That's better. Kind of got to the end of the point of the gum. You've seen it when President Trump chews gum. Not all the time, but he does it. There's occasion. It's nice to chew gum sometimes. There'll probably be something on that will pop up soon. So, liberty enlightening the world. You know, another interesting one is what's the name of that big circular park? So in Central Park, you got that big round pond. What's the name of it? Does anyone know what the full name of that round pond is? It comes to 385 in numbers, which basically comes to Jacqueline Lee Onassis Kennedy, but she's got 5 names, doesn't she? So you had Jacqueline Lee Onassis Kennedy, but there's another name. If you do all of Jackie's full name, it's 385, which is a reference to that big pond in Central Park. I've been there before. I've taken pictures there. I can't remember the full name of it. I can't remember all of the 5 names that Jackie went by. So, but that's a 385. Oh, you're welcome. More than welcome. So, if you haven't done so yet, hit the hype button if you would, folks, and subscribe. Make sure you are. 217 is Mission Impossible. 217 is Tom Sidney Bushnell. 217 is Lady Diana Frances Spencer. 217 is Houses of Parliament. Now we're at 218, which is John F. Kennedy Jr., John F. Kennedy Justice, John F. Kennedy Truth. 219 is Empire State Building. There's something to do with that as well. That's got something to do with the timeline. As and when, I don't know with that one, but there's something to do with that. And Empire State Building obviously has King Kong. King Kong in numbers is 88 Trump. And there's a beautiful piece blending with the number of timelines in the film Ready Player One. When they do a brilliant race, they show like an RV, digital currency, etc. in the DeLorean. And then there's a bit with King Kong. Yeah, it's really cool. Particularly the opening first few sequences in that film. But King Kong is 88 Trump. And Gorilla is 74, which is Gematria, which is DeLorean. And President Trump had his birthday when he turned 74 in the peak of the pandemic in 2020. 74 is Gematria, energy, nuclear. 74 is Muhammad. 74 is Jesus. 74 is Messiah. 74 is DeLorean. And who owns the John DeLorean property, which is now Trump National Bedminster? You see how it all works, folks. Everything's been coded. Where did Top Trumps come from? Where did that name come from? The Trump card is in the tarot. The trumpet, the Trump is in the Bible. John read out that verse at his mother's funeral. The eternal flame, and talked about the Lord, the Archangel, and the trump of God. Who's the trump of God? It's Trump. It's President Trump. It's Donald Trump. That's who it is. 228 in the chat. A thumbs up. 228 is the best is yet to come. And then we got a 446 in the chat. We were at 458. Nice. I missed that one. Patrick Kennedy, so John's brother, there's a reference there to Robert Patrick in Terminator 2. So you know the T-1000, the Terminator, the one that was the cop. Looks like my friend Chad, actually. And there's a reference where they smash through Plumber. That's a reference to Scotland and the mission. I've done a video on that before. I've been to that location. But Robert Patrick, the actor, who didn't really do too much else after that, probably because he didn't cut a deal, I'd have thought. He was brought, President Trump had him on the front lawn, I think it was at the White House, about something to do with bikers in the coronavirus period. And he's like, here, we've got T-1000, Robert Patrick. It's like, President Trump is like, I'll be back. It's like, there, we've got, it's just brilliant. It's like the film, what's the film? Last Action Hero. So it's about a young kid, and he gets brought into the reality of the movies. That's what President Trump's like. It's Robert Patrick, the T-1000. And Robert is 78, Patrick is 78, Kennedy is 78. So you've got Robert Patrick Kennedy, same numbers, which comes to 166, which comes to, guess this, folks. Okay, get this. This is how it works. Actually, no, I was close. No, it's not. It's 156, which is Baron Trump. I was going to say it's the Terminator, which is 166, but that's not. But it was partly because it was the White House. So the White House is 166, the Terminator is 166, and you've got President Trump talking to the Terminator, Robert Patrick, and he introduces him to everyone. And then you've got the parallel with who was The Apprentice. It was President Trump's TV show, and then who became The Apprentice later, after the Trump series had finished after a number of seasons. It was a one-off with Arnold Schwarzenegger, who was the you know, it's his show, The Apprentice, or well, it kind of bombed, didn't it? Boy George was in that one. He's coming out in a new film. He was in the A-Team as well. But you can see how this works, folks. She had the Terminator was a bad one, then he got reprogrammed, and then vice versa. You've got a good apprentice, President Trump, and then you got the bad one, Schwarzenegger. Do you see how it works? This is what goes on. It's funny, and if we're Q, which we are, we would have been creating some of these storyboards and plots that we'll get to unravel down here on Earth. 230. It went from 230 thumbs up. 230 is the length of the Tenet film. 2 hours 30 minutes. But then it went to 239, which is reverse infiltration, which I've just spoken about in a way. And 239 is also 1963, which is the year of JFK. Now we're on to 241, which is plutonium 241. I just mentioned Tenet, which is 241, plutonium 241, and 241 is President John F. Kennedy. And now we're in 244, which is Frederick Christ Trump, which is witness protection. So President Kennedy is in time travel witness protection, because if you do, and now 245, Thomas Sidney Bushnell, it's confirming what I'm saying. I'll go back to the Bouvier. Yeah, so what was it? So can you put those up, the 5 names again of Jackie? Jackie, Lee, Bouvier, Kennedy, Onassis. I believe that is 385. Tenet's brilliant, isn't it? It's a masterpiece. It's very complex. I still have to think about it as I'm going through it, because it's a different concept that we've been used to. The whole thing of reversing the flow of time in real time while it's taking place. There you go. Oh, so Bouvier is Marge Simpson's maiden name. Interesting. That's very cool. And so one I noticed last night was Stella. Might have said this yesterday, but Stella is the name of Lorraine Baines' mother in Back to the Future. It would be spelt different, but Stella's there. And then in Back to the Future 2, they talk about the ripple effect. And you've got Stella, you've got lumens and ripple in that Disney Pixar film, that cartoon with the fishes a few years ago. You got Stella in Love Actually, which is a great classic British movie. He does do those movies well, Notting Hill and Love Actually. What's his name? Richard someone. Can't think of his full name. But yeah, so we got 254 thumbs up, which is, like I said, the day of the year of September 11th. Veterans Day, yeah. Armistice Day here, 11/11. You do 11/11. 11 times 11 is 121. It's 1.21 gigawatts. 121 is the Trump. 121 is Gotham City. 121 is Golden Jubilee. 21 second coming. You saw a vet. Oh, okay. I thought you meant a dog vet for a second. 258 thumbs up is President Donald J. Trump. It's also a gift of the Holy Ghost, or the gift of the Holy Ghost. I have to check which it's got they're on it or not. Yeah, hit the thumbs up. Thanks, Cheryl. That would be great. Hit the thumbs up. Silver's 85. Storm. Matrix. Awakening. Yeah, everything's coded. They said learn our language. Does anyone know, I said this the other day, so you know you've got all the different timestamps with Q, you've got about a whole bunch of them. I get to know the words through the Gematria, and I notice the Q posts and some of the timestamps and the dates, etc. But then there's a whole bunch of other kind of pieces of code. Does anyone know what those are? I've not seen anyone fully explain what those pieces of code are, because that would be interesting to know what those are, because there's another set of codes, isn't there? And I myself would like to know what those are. What's someone's favorite Q post? Let's have a look. You got any favorite Q posts you want to mention? We'll do some of the numbers on it. Yeah, I'm not sure what those numbers are. That's what I wonder what they are. I'd have thought there's some